further solidifying our commitment to international cooperation and environmental stewardship. At the heart of Prasarana's sustainability blueprint lies 4 key goals. Goal number 1, transforming towards low carbon mobility. We are committed to reducing carbon emissions by 45% company-wide by 2030, and we aim for a 30% recycling rate. In tandem with the nation's aspiration in renewable energy, Prasarana aims to raise our renewable energy consumption by 5%. Goal number 2, upholding safety and security standards. Safety and security will remain a priority. We will continue investing in cutting-edge technology and equipment, for example, in our cybersecurity enhancements, in attaining a 4 out of 5 out of cybersecurity rating. We will also continuously foster a culture of safety within the organization with the aim of achieving 0 major accident and fatality rate. Goal number 3, driving productivity and enriching community. We are committed to providing efficient, reliable and affordable public transport. We will leverage data and technology to optimize operations while connecting communities and promoting inclusive mobility. We are also aiming for 30% women representation in managerial and board positions, as well as 1% people with disabilities representation in selected job functions within the company workforce. Goal number 4, commitment to good business conduct and ethical principles. Integrity, transparency, and upholding the highest ethical standards in everything we do is non-negotiable, and we aim for 0 corruption and bribery cases, as well as 0 major misconduct. Ladies and gentlemen, our decarbonization initiatives are already underway. We are committed to electrifying our fleet. From the current 15 units which you see here today on Sunway BRT, His Excellency Prime Minister has already announced during the recent budget for 150 electric buses to be operational for our new LRT line by 2025. In addition to that, we plan to add 100 more electric buses to our fleet by 2026 and a further 481 by 2030, with the aspiration to go fully electric by 2037. We also intend to take comprehensive energy audits. We have identified opportunities for a 20% reduction in energy consumption by 2030, translating to a 15% decrease in carbon usage. We have identified 103 rail and bus depots, stations and hubs for energy audits, which will implement energy-saving measures. At the same time, we are also harnessing the sun's power, collaborating with Sunway Group since 2022 to install solar PV panels across depots and stations along the BRT Sunway line in generating clean energy. In fact, at this particular depot here, we've already installed solar panels on top of our depot, which are waiting approval from SEDA for us to implement. The installation of solar PV for the depot was completed in November 2023. It is currently waiting Suruhanjaya Tenaga approval, and we expect to be fully operational in Q1 2024. Solar PV for 6 other stations is expected to be operational by Q2 2024. The projected accumulated cost savings over 25 years is 5 million, and the emission reduction by depot and stations is as much as nearly 700 tons of carbon dioxide equivalent in the first year. It is important for us as we embark on this initiative because it's not just a roadmap for us, it is already implementation plan already ahead. Ladies and gentlemen, Prasarana is positioned as a direct contributor and ecosystem enabler to promote the usage of public transport, aligned with the National Transport Policy vision of increasing public transport modal share up to 40% by 2030. At the moment, the transportation industry currently stands as the second largest emitter of greenhouse gas in Malaysia. We are serving nearly or more than 1.1 million passengers a day through our bus network and rail network. So every person that uses public transport saves energy in the long term. As a direct contributor to carbon avoidance, we estimate that our daily ridership of 1.1 million passengers removed a staggering 271,000 cars from the road, translating to a carbon avoidance equivalent to planting 3.2 million trees annually. By 2028, in 5 years' time, we project this impact to increase by 99.7%, as we expect more cars to be removed from the road, in tandem with the expansion of Prasarana rail and bus networks, resulting in projected increase in ridership. For the future, we intend to increase more buses, more minibuses, more vans, as announced by YB Minister Loh. We intend to open a new line, LRT3 Shah Alam, by 2025. So a lot of improvement coming in place. Prasarana is not just about moving people. We are paving the way for a Malaysia that is powered by clean energy, connected by a robust and inclusive public transport system, and guided by shared vision of a sustainable future. The Prasarana Sustainable Blueprint 2030 is a pledge to make Malaysia a leader in sustainable transportation and a model for the world. Thank you. Assalamualaikum.
Thank you very much, Mr. Muhammad Azharuddin. Distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, it is now my pleasure to invite Yang Berhormat Nazmi Ahmad, Minister of Natural Resources and Environmental Sustainability, to deliver his address. Dipersilakan Yang Berhormat.
Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamualaikum. Salam sejahtera. Yang berbahagia Tan Sri Jamaluddin Ibrahim, Chairman of Prasarana Malaysia, Ms. Karima El-Khori, Resident Coordinator, UN President's Office, Yang Berusaha Encik Muhammad Azharuddin Maksah, President and Group CEO Prasarana Malaysia, Yang Berusaha Encik Iskandar Abu Bakar, Group Chief Health, Safety, Security, Environment and Sustainable Development Officer Prasarana, Yang Berhormat Jamaliah Jamaluddin, Exco Selangor State Government, Yang Berhormat Ishal Eng, Member of the Selangor State Legislative Assembly, Subang Jaya, distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen. I would like to first congratulate Prasarana Malaysia on achieving this important and historic milestone, the launch of Prasarana Sustainability Blueprint. I'm pleased to be here to witness a government-owned company making a commitment towards environmental sustainability. Now I have a new title, almost as long as your own officer just now. Ministry of Natural Resources and Environmental Sustainability. And I think it's only apt that I'm here today to see the commitment and determination from the corporate sector to address environmental challenges, including climate change, and promote sustainability as a way of life for all Malaysians. In the past 1 year, the new government has been at the forefront in leading the charge in environmental sustainability and combating climate change. At the core of what we are doing for the country now and in the future, including through our key framework policies, among others, the Madani economy, the National Energy Transition Roadmap, NETR, the Hydrogen Economy and Technology Roadmap, HETR, and the New Industrial Master Plan, NIMP 2030. Climate change is not the only reason we are developing and implementing these policies. In fact, integrating sustainability into key policies is also the best way to future-proof our standard of living, as well as our economic prosperity and competitiveness in a world that is rapidly changing. Recently, during the COP28, the 28th Conference of Parties to the United Nations Framework Convention on Climate Change, the world adopted a historic outcome called the UAE Consensus. The decision is a historic turning point, where for the first time in the history, we've had 28 COPs, but this is the first time that the world unanimously consented to transition away from fossil fuels in energy systems in line with our targets for the 1.5 degrees Celsius pathway. The transition efforts will be implemented in a just, orderly and equitable manner and will reflect equity and the principle of common but differentiated responsibilities with respective capabilities that's enshrined under the UNFCCC and the Paris Agreement. Of course, there was a lot of debate in the conference, including the details, and there's also a lot more work to be done in terms of mitigation, adaptation, just transition and finance to realize the UAE consensus. But what it arguably means is that climate actions and sustainability are now a global watchword. It is something that all countries and indeed companies will need to embrace and master. For the latter, it's not only to merely check off boxes to satisfy regulators, activists, investors or customers. The fact that transition efforts will be implemented in a just, orderly and equitable manner will be welcome for developing countries like ours. But we must take cognizance of the fact that the eyes of the world are on us, and our consumers, including our trading partners, are becoming more conscious and concerned. As such, sustainability is now a business imperative. The government of Malaysia has and is doing much to address climate change, predating the UAE consensus, which includes ensuring our businesses and people can navigate the transitions that are surely coming. The clarion call is now going out to the private sector and the public to likewise take up the banner of sustainability, and indeed, I have seen a growing interest, even eagerness to do so across the board. Ladies and gentlemen, today we are here to witness how organizations such as Prasarana are making transformative strides, particularly in the transportation sector, and ushering in a new era of low-carbon mobility in line with the government's broader sustainable agenda, including the Low-Carbon Mobility Blueprint 2021-2030. I would like to commend Prasarana for your efforts, both directly and indirectly, in advancing environmental sustainability. This move will greatly enhance the public transportation system, helping people get around more easily and ensuring connectivity while promoting green mobility. As mentioned just now, transportation is the second largest emitter of greenhouse gases. And yet, as noted, it is something that almost everyone uses and needs, especially for it to be reliable and affordable. Thus, your leadership, Prasarana, your leadership's decision to make a stand in the transport sector by setting clear goals for low-carbon mobility is bold and commendable. We are, after all, always reminded that in our passion for promoting EVs as a green way forward, the best green way forward is still public transportation. Prasarana's dedication to supporting Malaysia's net zero ambition by 2050 is evident in your commitment to flagship catalyst projects such as energy audits for the rail sector, public transport electrification, and the implementation of solar PV for rail operations. These initiatives align seamlessly with not only the government's goals, but also with the UN's SDGs, specifically focusing on affordable and clean energy, Goal 7, Industry, Innovation and Infrastructure, Goal 9, and Sustainable Cities and Communities, Goal 11. By aligning its efforts with these global objectives, Prasarana is not only contributing towards national development, but also the global sustainable development agenda. Prasarana's targeted initiatives on decarbonization, including bus electrification, energy audits, and RE, renewable energy, are all positive steps towards a more sustainable future. Prasarana's proactive actions also contribute to the government's plans to increase our renewable energy capacity from 25% today to 70% by 2050, to reinforce our commitment to a cleaner and greener energy landscape. To that effect, all sectors and organizations must work together to drive our nation towards a more sustainable future. You have accepted the call through your sustainability blueprint. It's perhaps an early step, but it is an important one. I urge you all to stay the course, to never be satisfied with the status quo, and continue to find new ways to use sustainability in the very crucial work that you do. I trust others will follow in your footsteps, and that this is only the beginning, with greater things to come. Ladies and gentlemen, I know that for Prasarana, the challenge indeed is to convince Malaysians that Malaysian public transport is something that is efficient and accessible. Malaysians use public transport across the world, when they go not only to London but even to Singapore. But the moment they step in Kuala Lumpur, there's this cynicism whether our public transport is good enough. But really, I believe the challenge lies in ourselves, in trying to change how we approach the way we live. If we have a commitment towards sustainability, we know that our public transport is developing at a rapid pace, and the next step will be the completion not only of LRT3 but also of MRT3, that we will have our own circle line. And there has been long talks of even a congestion charge with the completion of an MRT3. That is not my decision, but it is something that I think we have to consider if we want to talk about a more sustainable city moving forward. And as much as my portfolio has somewhat changed or been reduced with the cabinet reshuffle, my son reminded me yesterday that I still cannot run away from environmental issues, even with the reshuffle. He says that he will still be breathing down my back to remind me about the big responsibilities, the big responsibility that I have, or the ministry has, on the future of the country. And I think that the bottom line is much more important than any business imperative, but it's really about the future of the country and the planet as a whole. So in conclusion, ladies and gentlemen, let us never forget that the journey towards sustainability requires collective effort. Together we can overcome the challenges posed by climate change. We've seen how the world overcame things like the lead pollution. Algeria became the last country in the world to stop the sale of lead in its petrol. We have overcome the ozone layer depletion, and I believe, although it's a bigger challenge, we can also overcome climate change. Once again, tahniah to Prasarana Malaysia on the launch of the Sustainability Blueprint. May your efforts pave the way for a brighter and sustainable future for generations to come. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Yang Berhormat. We invite Yang Berhormat to kindly remain on stage. Ladies and gentlemen, we now invite the Chairman of Prasarana, Resident Coordinator of the UN, Group CEO of Prasarana, and Group Chief HSSS Development Officer to the stage. Yang Berhormat, could you please scan your palm on the identification pad to initiate the launch sequence at a count of 3. 3, 2, 1. For launching the Prasarana Sustainability Blueprint. Ladies and gentlemen, we now invite Yang Berbahagia Tan Sri Jamaluddin to present a copy of the Prasarana Sustainability Blueprint to Yang Berhormat Minister. Ladies and gentlemen, join me in a big round of applause. Congratulations to Prasarana Malaysia Berhad. Ladies and gentlemen, we now invite Yang Berhormat the Minister to witness the handover of the UNGC membership certificate to Prasarana Malaysia Berhad. We now invite Mr. Faroz Nada, Executive Director of United Nations Global Compact Malaysia Brunei, to the stage and present the UNGC membership certificate to Mr. Muhammad Azharuddin. Ladies and gentlemen, a big round of applause. The UN Global Compact certificate is presented to companies that have taken steps to include UNGC principles into strategies, policies and procedures, and establishing a culture of integrity, upholding their basic responsibilities to people and planet, but also setting the stage for long-term success. Congratulations to Prasarana Malaysia Berhad. We take a moment for a group photograph. And with that, thank you once again, Yang Berhormat, for launching the Prasarana Sustainability Blueprint and witnessing the handover of the UNGC certificate. We now invite Yang Berhormat and the VIP entourage to proceed to visit the BRT Sunway Line electric bus, followed by a tour of the Prasarana Sustainability Blueprint Gallery. Ladies and gentlemen, you will see in a moment the QR code. If you would like a copy of the blueprint, ladies and gentlemen, please scan the QR code, and members of the media, please proceed to the media conference area located to the left of the stage. Meanwhile, ladies and gentlemen, please remain where you are in the event area as we will screen some interesting videos and you will be invited to refreshments while the press conference is complete. Thank you very much, ladies and gentlemen. And you may use the QR code on the screen to download the sustainability.
When it started, I think it was a bit cost connectivity, especially the station. Okay. Alright. And the students population is more nice tailors. Yeah. And the dedicated infrastructure. Yeah. Frequency. Correct. So just now.
And no traffic.
No traffic. So I took the BRT just now at 27. So I was monitoring on time, you're on time. Alright. So obviously no traffic. Yeah. So hopefully when we
Kalau dia boleh ke?
ada tak di situ? Ada cuma murni masa belum sampai. Ion apa isi ada satu? Ion lagi satu? Betul Ion di. Awal lagi. Itu ayat tapi. Bagi dia silakan pinjam. Ion yang EU tu.
Oh.
Test. Test 1 2 3 1 2 3 4 1 1 1 2 3 4. Okay. Dulu. Jangan. Oh, ya. Baik. Satu, dua, tiga. Tak. Dekat tak? Pegang macam ni boleh tak?
Apa? Anak yang nak pukul. Mereka nak cari kabel lah. Bodoh lah.
Ladies and gentlemen, thank you very much, members of the media, for your support joining us here today. Please keep your questions focused on today's event.
Okay, ready? RTM ready?
Ready.
Mengenai event hari ini, YB, dan inisiatif kerja prasarana untuk negara.
Okay, so hari ini kita telah saksikan pelancaran blueprint Kelestarian Prasarana dan bagi saya ini satu perkara yang sangat penting sebab prasarana merupakan satu syarikat milik kerajaan dan dia juga sebagaimana kita tahu syarikat yang menyediakan pengangkutan awam kepada beberapa bandar utama lah di seluruh negara. Jadi bagi saya sangat sesuai bagi prasarana mempunyai satu plan ataupun blueprint kelestarian kerana mereka memainkan peranan penting dalam decarbonisation, penyahkarbonan dan juga peralihan tenaga dalam negara kita selain daripada beberapa SDG yang lain. Dan kita telah lihat ada beberapa perancangan jelas yang dibuat, termasuklah selain daripada sekarang memangnya prasarana ada beberapa rangkaian rail yang berasaskan elektrik dan beberapa bas elektrik, tetapi peratusan bas elektrik ini akan dipertingkatkan dan ada retirement lah untuk bas-bas diesel yang sedia ada, dan ini akan memberikan kesan yang besar sebab kita tahu diesel ini antara bahan api fosil yang paling kotor. Dan seterusnya mereka juga menyebut tentang sasaran-sasaran yang berkaitan dengan governance, dengan penyertaan wanita di dalam. Saya difahamkan di peringkat pengurusan sudah agak hampir atau mencapai 30% sasaran, tetapi di peringkat lembaga pengarah dan sebagainya penyertaan golongan kelainan upaya di dalam tenaga kerja dan juga dari segi integriti yang sedang dipromosikan di peringkat prasarana, selain daripada soal alam sekitar dan peralihan tenaga yang menjadi teras kepada apa yang saya sebut sebentar tadi.
Abi, macam mana blueprint dapat bantu kerajaan dalam mencapai net zero carbon sustainability?
Okey, sebagaimana kita maklum, pengangkutan ini dia ada impak yang sangat besar. Ia merupakan selain daripada penjanaan tenaga, pengangkutan merupakan antara punca pencemaran ataupun pelepasan karbon yang paling tinggi. Sama ada kita naik kereta petrol ataupun kita naik bas yang berasaskan diesel, itu semua ada kesan, ataupun motosikal dan sebagainya. Jadi bila pengangkutan awam semakin baik, itu perkara yang pertama. Walaupun pengangkutan awam itu berasaskan diesel, lebih ramai naik pengangkutan awam, itu dah mengurangkan penggunaan kereta, dan itu ada impak yang sangat positif lah. Kedua ialah apabila pengangkutan awam yang berasaskan diesel, bas misalnya, dia beralih kepada elektrik, maka itu juga satu peralihan yang memberi kesan yang sangat besar kepada pelepasan karbon di dalam negara. Jadi sebab itu benda ini sangat penting, dan kita juga dalam ke arah nak ubah mindset. Sebab kita tahu berdekad-dekad lamanya bandar di Malaysia ini dirancang sebagai satu pembangunan berteraskan kereta. Dan segala mana kita mungkin tak ada tempat jalan kaki, tapi jalan untuk kereta itu tetap ada di dalam bandar-bandar kita. Jadi kalau kita tengok banyak bandar lain, kadang-kadang kedai itu tak ada jalan kereta pun, tapi boleh hidup, tak ada masalah. Tapi saya ingat kalau kat sini nak buat pedestrian walkway dan sebagainya, nak tutup jalan tram, memang akan kecoh. Sebab kita punya pembangunan memang berteraskan kereta. Jadi sebab itu peranan pengangkutan awam ni sangat penting. Dan saya sebenarnya kita boleh katakan rangkaian pengangkutan awam kita dah agak baik, tetapi nak ubah persepsi masyarakat yang merasakan bahawa ada cabaran besar, susah lagi nak naik pengangkutan awam, itu yang kita kena ubah lah. Dan itu satu tugas yang bukan saja di peringkat kementerian saya, tapi kementerian-kementerian yang lain kita akan bekerjasama lah. Kementerian Pengangkutan, wilayah dan lain-lain.
Adakah perlu mewajibkan syarikat pengangkutan lain untuk mengikuti apa yang prasarana lakukan?
Saya ingat benda ni bila dah berkembang, nanti dia akan ada economies of scale yang akan bagi kesan yang positif. Sebenarnya kalau pengangkutan berasaskan elektrik ini, maintenance dia lebih rendah. Dan kedua, bila lebih banyak, akan ada lebih banyak technician, mekanik dan sebagainya yang boleh servis pengangkutan awam, pengangkutan elektrik, dia akan membantulah. Jadi saya percaya kita akan kita akan tengok daripada segi dialog dan perbincangan dengan operator-operator lain untuk kita lihat bagaimana kita dapat kembangkan dan ikut contoh yang dibuat oleh prasarana lah. Okay?
Maybe earlier you mentioned about congestion charge. Maybe something that we can elaborate.
Okay, no, I'm saying that there was a proposal in the past, provided there's a few provisos there lah. One is that our public transport has reached a certain level. Secondly, I think the main focus has always been on MRT3, because MRT3 is the second line that will complete the connection between the different rail lines that we have in the country. So you don't have, for example, to go to the city centre to change trains. You can do at the periphery. So that will help. But I think that is obviously another discussion that we need to have. All that I'm saying is that we have to bear in mind that we need to change our habits. So that is one of the things that's proposed. Nothing has been decided. But I think, the government, we have to make difficult decisions. In the past 1 year, for example, we have moved, when we were in charge of electricity, we started the journey towards targeted subsidies for electricity tariffs, and that has compelled many companies, after the complaints and whatnot, to start installing solar panels and energy efficiency measures. So maybe we need to look at that or any other option to encourage. So it has to be both carrot and stick to encourage the adoption of public transport. Thank you.
Tapi sekarang ni Malaysia dah tahap ke mana dah untuk 2050 net zero ni? Sekarang kita di tahap mana?
Masih peringkat awal, banyak lagi yang perlu dilakukan. Kita punya sasaran sifar bersih seawal 2050. Untuk kita capai sasaran tersebut masih banyak lagi perlu dilakukan, dan the next kita punya ni ialah LT Labs yang kita sedang siapkan untuk kita dapat data-data terbaru tentang perjalanan kita menuju ke 2050, dan apa data awal kita dapat masih banyak lagi yang perlu kita lakukan untuk kita capai sasaran tersebut. Okay, terima kasih.
Thank you very much to members of the media. We now invite you for